Hey,
Somehow you made it in time, and I am so freaking proud of you, my man.
listen, man. It was a very tight window for me to get this right, but I think I got it.
I'm proud of you, man. You made it. So good freaking job. Guys, welcome. This is Around the Scene, presented to you by Playing with Rockets. I'm one of your hosts, PWR Ryan, and joining me by the skin of his teeth, we have Daddy Perino.
Yeah, on the road today. We're filming live on location here in Arizona.
We sound so official.
Well, you know, listen, it's been a long day. I got a very early flight. Got down here. It's like 115 degrees outside, and I'm not
Oh,
exaggerating.
that sounds, yeah. I
But
mean,
yeah,
I
no,
live in
we're here to
Houston.
talk
It's
Rocket League. I'm
brutal
here to hang out
anyway.
with you, and yeah, we're all good in the hood.
Hey man, we're so happy to have you guys. Welcome there in chat. We're happy to have all of y'all with us. But if you didn't know, this is Around the Scene, presented to you by Playing with Rockets, and we are here every week to give you your fix on all things Rocket League. Rain or shine, whether we're on the road or we're in our home, we will be here to give it to you. I was fully prepared to come in and start talking alone, so I'm glad you're here. I was like, this is gonna be a rough episode, I think. But guys, if you want to chat, feel free to ask questions there. We're gonna try something different this week. If you have a question pertaining to whatever we're talking about, throw it there in chat, and if we can work it into the conversation, we will. And for those of you who are watching later on YouTube.com, we are going to read out that question aloud so you guys still understand what all is going on. But want to give a quick, please be sure to give us follows, subscriptions, all that jazz. And then also a quick shout out to our sponsors on Patreon for the month of July. We got Father 5 and Jonesy. I'm going a million miles an hour right now because I was really slow setting up today's episode. And normally I'm a little bit more ahead of it. But I think I started setting up probably like 20 minutes beforehand. I was like, this is a really bad way to do this show.
Well, that's partially my fault too, because I was trying to get online. I have a laptop here that's very, very slow, so it was loading. It was trying to update Discord, and
I can't blame you though. Like I was playing Rocket League and I was like playing with my dogs. Like I really wasn't doing anything like super important. I just like wasn't paying attention to the time is all it came down to.
no,
Oh man.
it's funny. I actually just muted my microphone. Apparently, I didn't know this, but we're right under the path of commercial jet airliners. So, like, as you were going through your intro, I like looked up, and like you can probably watch it in the video later. But like, I looked up, and, like you can just hear like the whine of a jet engine. I'm like, oh,
Jeez.
maybe I should cut this out.
We'll see if we can work through some planes flying overhead. But we're going to move right on into it. For today's news segment, we've got a massive, gigantic 6 items for you guys. So the first one, this one a bit more fun. It gets a little bit into politics, but Congress played Rocket League today. Or more precisely, some of their staffers played Rocket League today. And this was all put together by the Electronic Software Association, ESA. They're the ones who put on E3 every year. They're the organization behind E3 and other big events like that. So apparently, I have the article pulled up here about it. I couldn't find anything on it like for today. Like it happened today, but there were literally no news articles about this. Like no one cared really.
Well, and it's funny you say that because again, obviously, I was traveling today, so this is actually the first time that I've
Yeah.
heard it too. Just
Like,
right now.
There's really
But,
no information out there about it. Like nobody wrote articles about it today, but there were articles about it as it was coming up. So I'm gonna read some snippets and stuff from that article. This article coming from John Christian over on futurism.com. Gamer representatives. It sounds like a joke, but members of Congress and their staff are getting together Wednesday to play the video game Rocket League. And as the icing on the cake, they'll be streaming the event live on Twitch. So if you want to go check it out, guys, you can go look at that later. Members of Congress and their staff will play the video game Rocket League, which will be streamed on the online platform Twitch, and they answer questions as they compete in the tournament, reads a press release sent out by the communications director of Representative Stephanie Murphy, who's a representative from Florida. And so essentially this was a part of the Future Forum, which is a group of 50 members of the House of Representatives who focus on technology and other issues affecting young people. They were the ones who hosted the event. So interesting idea to play a game and try to kind of tackle political issues, but I kind of dig it a little bit.
Yeah, I actually really dig it. Just based on the premise, again, I'm kind of going off an assumption here, but my assumption is that they're kind of just using Rocket League as a platform, to get on Twitch, and then they can answer questions about whatever sort of political issues that
Yeah.
they so desire. Um, Really interesting. Obviously, I think out of any of the esports out there, I think Rocket League is obviously the preferable candidate, given that
It's just so
for
easy, and like it doesn't require
yeah.
much. Like you don't have to be a the pun rocket scientist to play the game, but like it is just a simple game. It's easy to play.
Well, and there's the issue, of course, there's no violence, there's no,
Yeah.
mature
And
themes. It's just
as
rocket science.
as political representatives, you can imagine they were just like, I don't know if we should play Overwatch or Fortnite. What's something that's
Yeah,
nice and simple but isn't violent?
right. So, yeah, I think it's really cool. Again, I unfortunately don't know that much about it, but
Yeah, I mean,
it's
I
interesting.
looked around and I really couldn't find a whole lot about it aside from like this article from 2 days ago about it. But I just wanted to like talk about it just because it was kind of a cool thing. I think that's a neat way if you're in politics to try and connect with a different type of demographic from normal. Um, I mean, Twitch, that's becoming like a commonplace where you're gonna find a lot of people who are younger and everything. So I don't know, just thought it was kind of a neat deal. And
Definitely, no doubt.
more stuff for Rocket League. I try not to like talk about politics like ever, so I'm like it's
Yeah.
like you're like we're right on that fine line of like possibly talking politics and not. So I'm like, I don't. Let's get off this topic. Let's move on to the next one. The next one is Farah is going all in now, and he is doing Rocket League full time. So he was actually. I just read his tweet longer earlier, and he apparently was doing IT part time for the past for a while, and so now he decided he's going to go all in on Rocket League and go full time with it.
Yeah, it actually it kind of amazed me that there are professionals that do it what you would consider part time. I know that there are some who are students,
Right,
some who
like Squishy. I don't know if he still is, but he was a student for like a long.
yeah.
Like I mean, some of them are still in high school too. Like that's the other thing. Uh oh, think you muted.
Yeah,
Oh,
sorry.
there
No,
we go.
my Discord was sort of freaking out there, but
Ah, gotcha.
yeah, and Wonder too, right? I don't know if you just said it, but Wonder on Rogue, I think, was a student up until very
He
recently, right? Didn't
AJ
Kenobi came out
AJ
or AJ? One of the
because
two.
Wonder I think is like closer to my age. I could be wrong, but I think he's closer to my age.
I thought Wonder was still taking college classes, and maybe that's
Maybe he is.
but point being that
I just
I
said
always
AJ
find it
because he's young.
I always find it shocking that people are able to compete at the highest level and still put in the hours.
Yeah,
Like that to me is amazing. So good for Farah. They doesn't have to worry about other things. If he feels that he's living comfortably enough on doing Rocket League alone, great,
yeah.
good. We need more
That's
of that.
that's kind of my thought too. Like, happy for him. It seems like a lot of it had to do with his stress levels. Switching, doing work, and trying to maintain his professional status in Rocket League. It seems like that was taking a toll on him mentally. He's just getting stressed out by it a lot, and he didn't have a whole lot of free time. Because, I mean, trying to stay a pro in Rocket League, you have to keep putting time in. Like, you can't fall out behind for even a second, otherwise you're screwed.
I was gonna say. I mean, I don't know the numbers, but I imagine the pros have to be putting in on average. My guess is like 60 hours a week, probably.
Yeah, I've
Right?
heard I've heard anywhere from 60 to 80 hours a week is what they're putting in.
Yeah, which sounds about right. So
Yeah.
yeah, I again, the more people that can do this full time, the better, because it's healthier for the esport, it's healthier for the people who are
Yeah, these
playing
people
it,
are making a living
it's
doing
better for the
this.
fans.
So that I just thought that was a really cool thing to kind of throw out there. Some of this news is just like it's not super important. Like these, I think these are actually the only two. Yeah, these were like the only two that weren't like crazy important, but I thought they were interesting, so I threw them in here. Um, you have anything else you want to add to this or about like players full time in general or anything?
Um, no, other than I'm glad that again PSG can afford to pay Farah enough to make him not have to work another job. That's good.
Yeah.
Not like PSG doesn't have enough money.
Yeah. They got buckets of money over there.
Something
Uh,
like that, yeah.
Move on to the next bit of news. The Brawl, hosted by Lawler, is back. It's a one. For those of you who don't know what it is, it's a $1,000 weekly captain's draft tournament with RLCS level players. And so what it is, it's going to be a 10-week long event, and it will be alternating each week between NA and EU players, and then it'll culminate into a championship, I believe.
Yeah, and this is an event that I hadn't seen before. I saw this post on the subreddit, and it's really, really cool. I love the
Yeah,
idea.
no, it's extremely
I love
cool.
the format. I just think that it only benefits the scene to have players sort of like playing with each other in different ways. We get to see lineups like fantasy
Yeah.
lineups, quote unquote. So I think it's really cool.
Yeah,
I'm
I know.
excited
I
to
thought
see
it was cool too. Real quick, I'm going to show the trailer or the promotional video for it that they put together, so you guys can see it. So there's just a little thing about all that. I just thought it was like a neat thing. Like he went to the trouble of making a whole trailer for it and everything. It seems like a cool thing. I'm excited to see how it works out.
Yeah, and the nice thing too is that there's a large enough price pool. I think they'll all take it very seriously. $1,000 price pool isn't anything to sneeze at. So,
Yeah.
it's nice that they're
No,
actually
it's
incentivized
huge.
to actually like, yeah, because like the one thing that you sometimes see with like the community tournaments and stuff is like, if there's not the cash involved, people tend to not care.
You could
So,
say that again, man. We don't have the dough, we don't get the players.
I'm well, it's just the sad reality of it, but it's good
Yeah.
that they'll have enough to definitely have people take it seriously. So,
Yeah. So
it looks
that's
cool. I'm
yeah.
excited.
I'm excited to see how that one turns out. But if you're interested in it, go check out Lawler's Twitter. I believe it's RL_Lawler over on Twitter. 1 second. My wife just got home, so the dogs are really excited. But yeah, no, I'm excited. I agree with you. I think it's going to be a lot of like those fantasy teams kind of coming out and everything. A team that I would like to see is Justin, Kronovi, and Squishy.
Yeah, that would be kind of sick. I wonder how they pick captains. Is there
I
like
think
a
they're
determined...
I think they're selected at random, if I'm not mistaken. I can actually pull up something about it. So this is on Liquipedia. Captain draft. All signed up players are randomized, on which 8 players are chosen as captain of a team. The players that were chosen to represent their team as captain draft 2 players from the list of remaining players that were not chosen as captains. So I'm betting it's just going to be like a random deal.
Yeah, that could really result in some stacked teams depending on who the captains are.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, I think that it just seems like a little fun thing. And this is the type of content that I've been wanting from the scene, is just like random tournaments like this. Where it's like
Yeah,
it's just fun, it's not really like it's competition, but like more than anything like it's for the viewers. It's for the community.
yeah, and again, it'll be interesting to see who can take it down. I'd really like an EU team. I think that'd be a lot of fun. Would be if you got the old Dignitas back together.
Oh God.
So throw Turbo, Violent Panda, and K-Dop
Yeah,
back for this event. That'd be hilarious.
that would be funny. Yeah, because they're switching back and forth between NA and EU. So, man, it's gonna be a lot of fun to see how this pans out. So if you guys are interested in that too, again, you can just go check out Lawler over on Twitter. Moving on to the next thing, we're gonna look at the DreamHack Valencia results. Once I pull them up, because I'm just jumping around on Wikipedia here. The winners for the whole tournament were PSG Esports. So again, this is part of why Farrah gets to go full time. He just won a lot of money.
Certainly helps.
And then NRG Esports got I keep like, because they've been in the scene so long and like we always pronounce it NRG. I have a really hard time switching over to their like new preferred way of saying it, which is energy. Like that's what it's supposed to be, but like. Yeah. None of us have ever called it that, so I have a hard time switching. But Energy Esports,
I'm always gonna say NRG.
I'm probably going to do the same. They got second place, which was really cool because this was Fireburner's retirement tournament. Essentially, this was his send-off tournament, which is kind of, it's like sad, but you're also like happy because like, you know, he made this choice on his own. He feels confident with it, and then on top of it, it gives Energy a nice moment to try and see what they can do to improve the team.
Yeah, I would have liked to see NRG win it, of course, but you know, you can't have everything. Yeah, it's just, I think what's really unfortunate is that it's a little bit sad, but like it kind of encapsulates the whole thing. Like you felt like of all the teams that could have possibly drawn in the final, they swept Renault Vitality, right?
Yeah, they went crazy. They did so well. Like, it was so funny because Johnny Boy just kept saying, he was just like, this is scripted for them.
Right, and then they do so well, and then like to get PSG, like of all the teams you could possibly draw in the finals, I mean PSG is one you'd want to play. They're not as consistently that good, but I mean in this particular tournament, Chaussette in particular, and that little new car that he was flipping around in, it's just. It's like, man, you know, you couldn't play PSG, really? Like, there's the element of disappointment, and it sucks that like that's, you know, has to be part of it, but it does. It's like it's that element of disappointment. You never felt like that roster achieved what it could have.
Yeah,
and they got so close so many times, but yeah, it's unfortunate in that sense.
No, it really is. And then moving on in the placements, Complexity Gaming and the Bricks got third and fourth. And then Renault Vitality, Randy Gibbons River Rats, Cloud9, FC Barcelona all took 5th through 8th place. I was super impressed with how well Randy Gibbons River Rats did. I was so impressed. I wanted them so badly to get top 4 so that they could continue the team over to Montreal.
Oh, God. I mean, yeah, that's... through the next DreamHack. Oh my God.
Your mic went out for a sec. Say that one more time.
Oh, sorry. I was just saying that, could you imagine if they actually had done top 4 again and then they go to Montreal?
It would have been so funny to see that, like, in all honesty.
They played really well.
No, they did. Really well. That's what surprised me, is I was like, how are they doing this well? Like, every time I looked back at it, like, they were further in the bracket, I was like, how are you doing this? Like, I just thought it was like kind of a meme team. I was like, oh, like, I don't really know how far this team's going to go. But no, top 8.
Yeah, but I think there's something to be said for playing without the pressure. You know, there's no pressure on them.
Yeah, it was. You can tell they were doing this for fun, and like a lot of people were saying that too. Like this tournament, Turbo looked happy. Like he seemed like he was legitimately enjoying his time there.
Because if they had gone 0-3 and just dropped straight out, nobody would have cared. They would have said, "Oh well, you know, fine." Yeah, you know, there's no pressure. So
no, I was super happy for them, and Just happy for Turbo too. Like I think like after you get past a certain point, you might get a little obsessed with the game to an extent, and so like to find like and like you may not be enjoying it as much, so like get back and find the enjoyment in it right there. Like I was happy for him in that regard.
Yeah, and it'll be nice for him, I think, going forward to be able and see where he can go and take this momentum with him through to the next event. Hopefully, he can take some of that positivity and take it into his next team, wherever that is.
Yeah. So yep. Those are DreamHack Valencia results. Is there anything else that like stuck out to you? I don't know if you watched much of DreamHack this time around.
I was annoyed that my G2 pick was atrocious. Again, my picks have been atrocious lately. But
I mean, I was
no.
upset too with my pick for Renault Vitality. I was like so pumped, and like they were undefeated. They didn't drop a game, not a series, a game. They didn't drop anything. Then they get to NRG and they lose. They just get eliminated. I was like, really? Like, come on. Like I was happy for NRG, but at the same time I was like, my pick's wrong now. Like, damn it.
Yeah, that's how I felt with G2 as well. It was like,
Didn't NRG drop
really?
them too?
No, I thought
No,
G2
no.
beat NRG
No, because
in one of the points. I don't
no,
know.
G2 didn't make top 8, so they didn't make final bracket. Let me look through complexity. Oh no, yeah. G2 beat NRG, and then they lost to FC Barcelona. Then they were
What are you gonna
eliminated
do?
by complexity. Complexity though have been on the rise. Like for the team fresh out of the RLRS to make top 4 in this, like they got to be feeling good as they move into RLCS next season.
Yeah, no, they definitely should have some confidence going forward. No doubt, they're a good team. I mean, straight up, Flakes is nuts.
Yeah.
We'll say it here often. Flakes is nuts. So that alone can propel them to some level of success.
Yeah, no, I think they're a really solid team, and I mean, they all have experience in RLCS, so like it's nothing new. Like Flakes is the only one who doesn't have the experience, but I mean, again, he's crazy, so it doesn't really matter.
Yeah, he's one of those trendy players, right?
Yeah.
Very quick, very mechanically gifted. Young, fresh into the scene. So he's good for it. He's good.
So
for it.
hot, so fresh.
Oh yes.
Moving on to the next bit of news. Dazarin has announced that he is bringing back the Skirmish Invitational, which is a tournament that he hosted. He did 3 invitationals, and so he's bringing it back again for the 4th one. And it is essentially an invitational for 10 RLC it is a 10-team invitational for non-RLCS level teams. So RLRS and then high-level bubble teams as well. So in the past, he's done 3. The first one went to Onset as the winners. Second one went to Triple Commit as the winners. And their last one went to Plot Twist as the winners.
Sorry, I had I got a gift of water from my brother from there.
You gotta stay hydrated while you're doing this.
Dude, it's so hot out here. It's so hot. But
I know, I bet.
But yeah, again, this is another series that I didn't get the chance to actually watch it, first time around. But yeah, again, more events the merrier, as we say. More. Yeah. I want more Rocket League. Give me more, always.
More is better for everybody. So I mean, I'm like, and I like it though because it's like short, concise tournament. That's what I also like about the Brawl is it's a short, concise tournament. Like 8-10 teams, like. That's like that sweet spot where people will stick around for the whole night to just watch that really quickly, and they're like, all right, cool, peace. And they don't feel like they've lost anything.
Yeah, that's the tough thing about watching something like DreamHack when I was watching this weekend.
It's so long.
And it started so early, of course, because it's in Valencia. Which,
I'd wake up and I'd check my Twitter and stuff and be like, oh, so-and-so just won their game. And I was like, oh, shit, games are going on right now.
And it's so easy to forget too, and it's over the course of 3 days on the weekend. It's like, dude, I'm not getting up at 7 a.m. on Friday, Saturday, Sunday morning to watch this. I'm just not. So
I mean,
You know.
once I got up and I got some coffee in me, I was watching.
Oh yeah,
For
same.
as long
Yeah.
as I could until the wife then got up herself and was like, "Can we not watch car soccer?" And I would say, "Yes, it's okay."
We can do something other than car
Yes,
soccer,
we can watch something else, I guess.
but yeah, it's again, it can be tough with those longer formats, to really sit there and watch everything.
Yeah,
So
I lose attention to it and stuff, and so it's like it can be rough. So like tournaments that you can get done in a night, I'm happy with. I can give my attention for an evening. More
yeah,
than that, I don't
wonderful tournaments on
know.
Monday nights, that are very quick, very concise. You
We
can,
really are quick though. Like every single time, like despite how many teams we have, we almost always finish it within 3 hours and 30 minutes. Like it's
yeah,
almost
I know.
like
That's why I
on
love
the
watching
dot.
you
Like
guys too.
every single time we finish it right about that time zone, like time spot. Like it's always
Yeah, but
right
that's
about.
perfect.
Yeah, no, it's great. I love it because it's like it like makes my schedule easier. Because like I finish up at the studio, but it's like just because we're done with the cast doesn't mean like I leave. Like I still sit around and like talk about the stream with our producers and the co-casters and stuff, and just kind of talk through some stuff. Then it gets to a point where we're just sitting around drinking beer and chatting. Because the
Well, that's
cafe's
what you
like
and I do best.
well, the cafe's closed at that point, so it's just us all and the manager just like sitting around talking, which is it's kind of cool because it's like they're closed to the public now, and it's like we get this whole place to ourselves.
Yeah, but again, it's nice to have that feel to it. That it's not such a
Yeah,
dragged out and
yeah.
long ass event. You can just get in, get it done, and
I
there you
still
go.
every time though, no matter what time we finish, I still don't get home till like midnight, at least.
Someone's got to make the sacrifice, man.
You
Someone's got.
know, no, I'll take that bullet.
There you go.
Moving on to our final bit of news. Rocket League servers appear to have been banned in Iran. I couldn't find like anything on it aside from the post on Reddit about it, but it looks like there was a quote from somewhere. This comment courtesy of Nick, I would remember over on Reddit. Quote, it is due to Google services being blocked in the listed countries. We don't care who you are and really want everyone to play, but if the services are not available, it's not going to work without a VPN to bypass filtering. So it said, in parentheses, this could be due to Google or the government, and that's apparently a quote from Psionics Durkin. And yeah, Google hosts their servers, so I don't understand how that causes it to be banned, but I mean, it's just unfortunate.
Yeah, I again don't know too much about that particular situation. Sucks, It just
Yeah.
sucks that if you're stuck in a region that is susceptible to having those sort of outages,
Yeah.
quote unquote.
Yeah.
It's just a facet of life, which again it sucks because just trying to game, man.
Yeah, I'm just trying to rank up, man.
Just trying to
Trying
game,
to
man.
trying to reach GC, you know.
Yeah, trying to practice my flip resets, SMH.
Notice our goals are so different.
Well, once you hit GC, you just got to try learning the fun stuff. That's all it is.
Yeah.
I've been trying to do that personally, but it's not easy.
So that concludes our Rocket League news segment. So now we are going to move on to the roster shuffle. So the first bit of roster news is Sosa, Joe Freshness, and Skills have come together to form Linked Up. There's a Twitter link here that Eldino was so gracious to provide to me. And it is a tweet from Sosa, quote, excited to announce that I'm going to be officially teaming up with Skills and Joe Freshness for the next RLRS season and other tournaments under the team name Linked Up. We will also be looking for scrims, so hit us up.
Yeah, sounds like a good team on paper, right? I mean,
Yeah, I mean that's
they'll have
those are three really solid players.
yeah, and again, your knowledge of the bubble scene is probably a little bit better than mine. I'm not as well
Yeah.
versed in some of these names, but you know, it again from my limited understanding, it seems like a good team. They, they'll have a shot certainly at getting into the RLRS. So
Yeah, and I think they're going to be one of those teams that people look at and are really just looking at the lineup for this team. I am willing to bet that they are going to be minimum top 8 team because these guys bring a lot to the table. And I mean, these guys all have RLRS experience anyway, so that's a big plus for them.
yeah, it's always sort of a gamble when you pick up these rosters, right? And you have
Yeah.
brand new team playing together, but you got to try and make it work. Again, I apologize. I think that's another aircraft in the background, but
I don't hear it actually.
really,
No, I can't hear
I
it.
can hear it through my headphones. So I don't know. Maybe it's just me,
I
but
can't hear
well, that's good. I was
it.
worried about that. If no one makes another low pass, you'll definitely hear
Yeah.
it. But yeah, again, in terms of that roster, it seems like it should be good. So
Yeah.
you just got to roll the dice and try and get in, man. Try
Yeah.
and get in
And
that
I mean,
RLRS.
well, the other
String
thing
some.
too is like these guys when they're going into these team decisions, like they've already played together a bit to see if things kind of jive for them. And so obviously these guys have played together now and they know like, hey, this is a team we like. We like the chemistry here. And to declare that this is going to be your team now, I think is good because you get much more time to work together. Because RLRS plans, I mean, you got to think RLCS just wrapped up. It's July right now. You got to think based on the amount of time it takes for them to go through qualifiers all the way to RLCS World Championship, the amount of time it takes, they're going to want to try and I assume they'd want to have it done before the new year starts. But like before Christmas.
Yeah, again, I don't know what the scheduling is like, but yeah, and the other element of it too is because none of the players are signed to organizations. Obviously you want to be part of an org, but one of the benefits of not being in an org is that you can make whatever roster moves you want. And you can pick anyone
Yeah.
up, and you have all the flexibility because there's no contracts. So
Well, and even as we've seen in most cases, even when you are under an org, like in the case with Space Station Gaming, like it doesn't matter, you know?
yeah, it's a contract until it isn't.
Yeah, until like the player just says, "Oh, can I just be released?" and the org says, "Yeah, sure, we'll release you." I mean,
Yeah, or have it be like Tfue and Phase, and it get
Ugh,
super ugly and messy
yeah,
and all that.
that was a mess.
Oh God.
That was a mess of a situation for sure.
Yeah,
Moving
it's a
on to
contract, but it's not a contract.
yeah, it is, but it isn't. We'll figure it out. Moving on to the next bit of news, Noxus is no longer a part of Noble, or no, Noxus leaves Noble Esports as a player, but he is still with them as a streamer. This comes from Nox's tweet, quote, LFT, retweets appreciated, still under Noble, just as a streamer, doe. So, man, that sucks. Like, Noxus is such a good player, and for him to just kind of like, popping around, like hopping from team to team to team. Like it just sucks to watch because he's got a lot of skill behind him. The guy's good.
Yeah, and it's always unfortunate because you can never fully tell on behind. I'd love to, be a fly on the wall to see like when they kind of make these decisions, like
Yeah.
how they determine who gets kicked or whatever. Because like, I mean, I say kicked.
Well, the reason that Nox is, and this is just because I have seen this team enough to know, Alpha Keep and ZPS were the two teammates. They've already been teammates for a long time. They were teammates under Sway, and before that, man, I can't remember what their team name was before that. But yeah, like these two have been teammates for a while, so naturally, like Nox's is the odd man out because these two know each other so well.
Yeah, but again, that's not always a thing because we saw that with the FlyQuest roster when it blew up. It was always Wonder and Prime Thunder.
Yeah,
And then they went a different direction from that. So I don't know. It's always
you just never
tough
know,
because you just don't. You can't see you can't see what the attitudes are like, and the chemistry,
Yeah.
personality wise in the team, not just on the field but also off the field. I think is a big element.
Yeah. Anyway, moving on to the next bit of news that is tied into the one we just talked about. The replacement for Noxus is none other than Astro. He's going to be joining them. So, Noble Esports, this tweet comes from them. Landbound, quote, congratulations to the hashtag NobleRL team for winning the first at World Gaming Rocket League WGN North American Championship qualifier. This secures them a spot in the grand finals next month at Alphakeep, ZPS, and Astro RL.
Wow, just like that. Again, I don't know that much about Astro personally.
Yeah,
we'll defer to you somewhat on this topic.
He came from RBG.
Okay.
He was on the formerly Continuum, now RBG team with Rapid and Aeon, I want to say. That's who the teammate is.
Sounds right. Again, I'm sort of deferring to you on this one.
Yeah, no, I'm like blanking out though. I'm like, is it Rapid Aeon? I want to say that's what it is. Let me pull up Wikipedia here. I feel like I'm pretty positive that's the team.
But I mean, again, you have to say though that's clearly a good first result for qualifying into the into the WGN. So clearly they think that team promise it can go places. So short term seems to have worked for them. So maybe they'll keep it up. But I don't know. Again, nothing is certain, and things change so fast in this scene. There's no promises. There are no guarantees on anything. So
yeah.
Just gotta grind and stay on top.
I confirmed it now. It is Rapid and Aeon, who were his former teammates over there in the RBG team. Astro was replaced recently by Seabass.
Gotcha. Okay.
So yeah, that's
one big circle.
Yeah. So he just hops on over to Noble Esports now. And then our final bit of roster news, Lone Wolves rejoins Rocket League with Ducky, Pixel, and Band playing under them. This tweet coming from them, quote, roster update. Excited to announce our new lineup. We will continue to be under the Lights Out RL organization. This Twitter account is also under new management. So Lone Wolves were a team that was like under Lights Out, and then they got removed, or they left. I think their team just didn't work out or something, so they left, and now they're back. And so, to be totally honest with you, I don't know any of these three players.
I was just about to say the same thing.
Ducky, I think, is the only one I know. Lone Wolves isn't they're kind of I guess like stacking of their teams was Lights Out is kind of like the peak of them. Then it's Loaf Bread Sports and Lone Wolves. Those were kind of the two that it could go either way as to who's the better team.
Yeah, it didn't Sway sort of have. They had like the top team for Sway, and then their collars, so sort of something similar like that, but just different names.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah. Like how they have like Sway White, Sway Black, and all that. Yeah. That's kind of what it is for them.
Yeah. Well, again, same thing though. I have not heard of a single one of these names before.
Ducky, I think, has played in one of our tournaments before, so I'm pretty sure I've seen him play. He was pretty good. He was pretty aggressive on the ball. But really, aside from that, I can't say I remember too much about him. It was a while back that I casted a game with him.
Yeah, again, man, these bubble teams are more your. I will totally defer. If you don't know them either, then again, GCs, probably grinding through the ranks, forming a team together, getting picked up. Hey, again, give it your shot, man.
Yeah. So that is gonna conclude everything for the roster shuffle. So, moving into our final segment, which is freewheeling, we actually have a good bit of time, man. We have a nice chunk of time to kind of discuss things. And I had a question.
This is rare for us.
I had a question here in chat. So if you guys have any questions, feel free to drop those in chat, and we'll try to we'll use this time to kind of discuss chat stuff, and we'll read out the question out loud so that those who are watching on YouTube later still understand what's going on. But this first question comes from Kevers RL, and his question: hey, can you guys talk about the bubble scene, like teams that are at the top of the bubble scene right now? Do you have any teams that you've seen form recently that you think, aside, like, I mean, we see linked up here, but do you see any of the others that were interesting to you so far?
Oh, you always had to start me with a question. I'm not gonna.
Yeah, well, I mean, you're a little more unfamiliar with the bubble scene, and it's not like you would compete at this level, but you really don't do a whole lot of tournaments, do you?
Me personally, no. I would say I am like the half step below these guys. Like, so, and again, in terms of most of these players, like these are players that like typically like basically like 1700 MMR and above. Like once you're in GC,
Yeah.
the MMR cutoff for GC is 1515, and that's where I like to sit. You know, I'm good, but I'm not that good.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll straight up say a lot of these guys are just straight up better than me. However, any particular bubble teams that I find interesting?
If you don't know many, like, it's okay. Like,
Well, I was
it's
gonna say, but didn't Sway come out with a new roster recently?
if they did, I don't know about it.
I
They may have, but I haven't heard any
changed,
news.
I don't know.
I'd check on Discord, but otherwise I would mess up the stream, so I can't look.
Fair enough. Yeah. Again, unfortunately, I can't really
No,
add a whole lot
no,
to
and
this
that's
discussion
all
'cause I don't
good.
know many of the bubble teams.
I can tell you why you don't know anything.
Oh yeah.
Because there are virtually no teams right now.
That's fair. Okay, then I'm not that stupid.
There's not many teams because the teams are now because the way that it works is, or the way that the scene has kind of just worked itself out. This isn't anything that someone decided. It's just kind of how things panned out in the scene. When RLCS is in season, bubble scene goes into off-season mode. Like, nobody's doing anything. No one plays tournaments, nothing. They're just grinding at that point, trying to improve themselves personally. Then, the second RLCS ends, everyone starts trying to form their teams all of a sudden to get ready for the next round of RLRS play-ins when they come up. And so, we're just now starting to see the teams really take shape again. So, one of the new teams that formed was linked up, like we said, which is Sosa, Joe Freshness, and Skills. But then another new one that formed is Ty Not Tyler, Dapper, and Shadow, who they came together to form a team called Goal Patrol. And then you have some big name teams that have been in the bubble scene for a while and they have been sticking around. Like Kever says there, Affinity is really good. They now are under Avidity Esports. And they're a very good team. They just actually, or no, not them. They won Launchpad 28. So not this week, but last week's tournament they won.
Well, I appreciate you coming in with some of that knowledge there because I would.
I like because like I commentate these teams, like it's inherent almost that I need to know stuff about it.
Yeah, yeah.
I like kind of have to know stuff about it. Otherwise I have nothing to say on stream.
Yeah, like yeah. So this team here.
Yeah. So I kind of have to know a little bit about them if I'm going to commentate them. But no, looking at the team so far, I want to say that Goal Patrol would have a chance. Ty Not Tyler, Dapper, and Shadow, it looks like a good team. But, man, like, the teams Dapper's been on just haven't been able to make anything happen. And, like, it sucks because I like Dapper, and I want Dapper to, like, get a foothold back in the scene properly and, like, kind of have his redemption arc happen, you know?
It's hard to get back in it once you're kind of recycled through it.
No, it's rough.
We haven't really seen a case Well, other than I don't know, some of the European players have kind of had moments where they're almost out of the scene and then come back in. Like Greasy was kind of almost out of it at one point.
Yeah, and now he's on
Freaky,
Complexity and they're going crazy.
Freaky, I think is another you could look at. You could say, oh my god, they got demoted and then kind of got stuck and moved back. But
Yeah.
yeah, once you're kind of recycled through that top level of play, it's very difficult to get back in it because typically what happens is teams tend to look for younger or unproven players, and because just with the way Rocket League is and how many talented, like just straight talented players are out there,
Yeah.
it's tough to get your foot back in once you're knocked back off. So
Yeah. So no, I'm happy. I'm happy that those teams have. I really hope that this is the season. I hope season 8's your season, Dapper. Believe in you. So we'll see. We'll see. But he actually. It's kind of funny though because his teammate Shadow was the team that prevented him from making RLRS.
Ooh.
Shadow was on Upper 90 Esports, and that's the team that dropped them to losers where they lost again. So, and it was like
that out.
I think it was the semifinals of the winners bracket. So all their team had to do, and it was when they were triple commit, all they had to do was win 2 more series and they were in RLRS. Upper 90, as that story goes, took them down and then moved on to win their next game as well.
Yeah, it all sort of comes down to that one day. But,
yeah. So, I mean, in terms of the RLRS and bubble teams right now, it's really tough to say just because we're right at the start of the season for bubble teams and RLRS level teams. Ask the question again in about 2 weeks, and I guarantee we'll have many more teams that we can really talk about.
Yeah, because there's still some big names out there that haven't been picked up. Like Miho, I think just recently came out and said
Miho's LFT. Jacob still is LFT. Like, he still doesn't have a team, and he's going to compete this time around. He's going to want to.
Is First Killer signed onto a team yet?
No, I don't think First Killer is eligible yet.
Oh, unlucky.
I think he's still. I think it's next season.
Gotcha.
I could be wrong.
Say, that's another name that stands out to me.
If he is eligible, you can expect him to find a team and make it happen.
Yeah.
Interestingly enough, in the Player 1 doubles tournament that happened Monday, guess who First Killer's teammate was?
I have no idea, Ryan. You'll have to tell me.
Drippe.
Oh.
Right? That's what I was saying. I was like, okay. Like, this is interesting.
Yeah, that is interesting.
Yeah.
I agree. Trying to work him out at a RLCS level, huh?
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting, though, because I'm kind of like, how would, like...
That'd be a horrifying twos team to play against with a mechanical skill.
No, it'd be a horrifying team, but at the same, the aggression would be wild. I want to go back and watch the Player 1 tournament to see if they streamed them playing. I didn't even see who won it because it went on at the same time our tournament was going. So
right.
But it made me think. I was kind of like, okay, that's interesting because he doesn't. That can't be a team that happens, you know?
Right.
Because if you're Evil Geniuses and you're a top tier team and you won't stand for being an RLRS, but yet you're going to keep this player, you have to go buy 2 other players who are in RLCS.
Carrot and Justin.
I don't think so. Like, I'm starting to think less and less of that one. Like, I feel like they would want a lot of money to give up Drippe now. Which kind of sucks for Drippe, because Drippe is the one who gets hurt by it.
But I think it would go the other way. I think, again, Evil Geniuses would buy out the contracts from NRG because there have been long-standing rumors about their.
I mean, I don't really know if they're down for that though. I don't like NRG has been in the scene for so long that like And now with this chance to change the team, I think this is like a chance where they're like, this is a good time for us to really see if this team can actually do it. Because you have to think they keep winning regionals every year.
Yeah, and they clearly have a lot of talent.
Yeah, and so it's like if I'm a team owner and I'm NRG, like I don't know that I would just give it up that easily, you know? Like I feel like Evil Geniuses would really have to pay out some money. Like they're gonna have to dig deep in their pockets, and at that point, like I don't know if it's worth it to them, to be totally honest.
Yeah, and the other thing with that too is you have to wonder how much getting those esports decals means to them as well. You know,
Yeah.
does that really make that much of a difference? Does it matter? You know, if in the RLCS and you
I
get the
mean,
esports
if you
it
pick
has
up
to matter
Garrett
because
and
then,
Justin, you gotta think that your money's gonna increase on those. Because people
right?
people want to
So
go support Garrett and Justin. They're two big names in the scene that everyone's like, oh, I gotta go get like their decal. I mean, the only
you would
reason
think,
Rogue decals really sold was because of Kronovi.
yeah. So there has to be some sort of worth to it. It's just a question of how much. And
Yeah.
again, we can't ever possibly know.
No, we can't. So we can go into. I don't see any other questions there in chat that pertain to Rocket League. There was another question that I'm not gonna read. But
Unlucky.
yeah, sorry, man. Um, and so the next thing that I want to kind of ask you, and this is just kind of like broad, you know, this is broad RLCS, both Europe, NA, whatever.
Okay, hit me.
What team or teams do you think are overdue for a roster change?
Ooh,
Yeah.
ooh. Well, there is a name that comes to mind right away, and you can probably guess what I'm gonna say. I'm trying to think of more than one. Um, well, we'll talk about it because I'm sure this will give us the good, good last segment of the show here. TSM. I
Yeah, that's one that I was kind of thinking too.
So here's the thing with them. So they obviously didn't have a great RLCS themselves. You know, they had an amazing RLCS season 6, right? You know, they go to Worlds, they do really well under Weedham Girls, they get signed by the big org, and since then they have done relative to that standard absolutely nothing.
Yeah.
Um, there's a lot of inconsistency issues on the team between Remco and iIgnite. Um, I think if you're TSM, you really have to look because again, TSM is a huge name in
No,
esports. You know,
yeah, they're gigantic.
if you just follow Rocket League, you may not realize, but like TSM, like outside of Rocket League, ginormous.
Yeah, it's something like they, I believe, are among the top three biggest uh, esports organizations in terms of like social media followings. Like
Yeah,
I think it goes FaZe Clan, Cloud9, TSM.
yeah. And so the fact that they're not currently competing at a level that you would expect an organization of TSM to
Yeah.
be, you have to look at it and say, okay, well, is there a move going to be coming? The real thing with them is that I don't know who you would get. Um, I think you could either drop Remco or iIgnite depending on the direction that you wanted to
I
go,
mean,
but I
you
just
gotta
don't.
think that Turbo Pulse is up for grabs now.
Yeah, and there's a possibility of that. I just bring in Turbo for iIgnite straight up 1-to-1, I
Yeah.
guess. But I think if
It's
you're
hard. It's
TSM,
really
you have to
hard
be
to
looking.
say as to like who would fill the spot on that team.
Yeah, again, it would depend on the player that you dropped and the player that you think you could pick up and the direction you think you want it to go. So there'd be a lot of moving parts to that. But
Yeah.
yeah, I would say my answer is definitely TSM. I think you have to look at them and say, okay, since they got signed by an org and they haven't done anything, what's the change you're going to make? And I think you have to be looking at you have to be looking at either dropping iIgnite or Remco. There was a whole thing. I don't know if you saw it. There was a whole thing after DreamHack because it got knocked right out of DreamHack too. I don't think they made it on day one, right?
Don't know. I'd have to pull the bracket back up
I
and see.
they did not do well at DreamHack. I think
Yeah.
they got dropped day one, but I'm not totally sure. But like a couple of them were just like tweeting some like very like vague like off-putting stuff,
Yeah.
and like you gotta wonder where their heads are at. So
I mean, you gotta
I don't know.
think they went from a chance at LAN to like they were like second place in league play for EU, and they went from second place all the like a guaranteed spot for LAN, all the way down to nope, you just keep your RLCS spot.
Yeah,
Like all in the
and
span of 2 weeks. Like the last 2 weeks, like just did it in for them.
yeah, and the crazy thing too is that the results outside of RLCS have been poor too. Both of the DreamHack events that we've had recently, they haven't done well in either one. At least like
Yeah.
you look at a team like the Bricks, let's say. Sure, had a poor RLCS season, but they've done really well, in other lands. So, okay, fine, you don't have a good RLCS, but you're still showing results elsewhere.
Yeah.
So there's still something you can go off. With TSM, we haven't seen anything in the past, however
Since
many
they
months.
won E League.
Right.
That's the last time we saw a big name result from that team.
Yeah, and there just hasn't been anything since. So,
Yeah, so it's been almost a year now.
otherwise, I think again you could have said NRG, but then Fireburner retired, so that kind of
And
forced
see,
that
like
one.
they were a team that I'd been thinking of for that, but because of that, like it forced it to happen, which I think
Right.
I to be honest, I think it was coming one way or another. I even if he wasn't retiring,
Yeah.
I still think someone was leaving NRG at this point. You've been
Yeah.
together this long and you still cannot put up good results at Worlds, the biggest tournament of the year. Like something has to change there. Another team though that I think needs roster changes is Splice.
Yes. Yeah. That's one that I hadn't thought of, but definitely one that could use a couple changes. I think if you're Karma and Jaywiz, you got to look at dropping Nose Dude there and
Yeah.
perhaps
They
finding another
they've got to
third.
change someone at this point. Like they need
Yeah,
to.
and I think it would be Nose Dude, but
Yeah.
I don't know. That's a another tough one, as they say.
Yeah. But yeah, those are just some of the teams that I think need a roster change. Like when I really think about it, we did have a lot of roster moves happen last season to really shake up some of the teams. So some of them, I think they still need a little more time to marinate before you really say anything about them. And real quick clarification. TSM did have one good result. It was second place at DreamHack Dallas.
Oh,
I forgot about that too. So thank you very much
oops.
for that. So and then this will be our final thing, and then we're gonna sign off, guys. So thank you all so much for the questions. I like doing it this way. We should try doing it this way next time.
Yeah, it's nice to get it's nice
Nice-
to get the people watching involved
nice,
too.
nice to try
Sort
and
of.
have. That's what I've been trying to work towards is like having some engagement. So this will be our final question. Ty Swoogles, or no, this is from Kevers as well. Can you also talk about the No, that's not his. I have to like look up. Okay, no, this is twice Ty Swoogles. I was right. What do you make of EG buying out Ghost in those like the rumors about that?
Ooh,
Ghost has tried to get out of the scene before. They've
Yeah.
actively tried to get out of the scene, and that's one that like I kind of thought of, but I didn't really think too hard on it.
well, because wasn't the rumor that they were gonna drop Leth, right?
No,
That were
they
gonna-
they like put the whole team on like God, I can't remember what the term
Oh,
was
like
they
restricted
used.
free agency. Yes.
Yes, that's what it was. A restricted
RFA,
free
baby.
agency. Yeah, you know your stuff, man. That's what they put them on. So Ghost was trying to get out of the scene at one point. So you gotta think like, unless they're doing gangbusters on the esports decal stuff, like they're still looking to get out.
Yeah.
In
That's
comes
one.
evil geniuses.
Yeah, and it would be far less expensive to buy them out as opposed to NRG. I
Oh
would
yeah,
think, just based on
like
the
outright, you could
roster.
save some money in terms of buying out.
Yeah, so I could definitely see it happening, and it's probably more likely just purely again because of the money.
Yeah.
It's more likely that yes, evil geniuses would purchase out Ghost.
Yeah.
But again, it's another case because the Ghost decal is so nice.
It's so nice, and that's why I specifically said I was like, it kind of
tough.
depends on what their sales have been like for that, because that's one of the teams, like there are some teams that you're gonna get because you like the team, but then there's some that you're just gonna get because you're like, that's a badass decal, and Ghost is definitely one of them. The all black car with just the like white G, it's cool, man.
It is cool, yeah. So, definitely something I could see happening.
So this would be my question. Then I have to say words. Who would you drop from that team if you're evil geniuses and you buy this team? Lethamyr, Memory, or Lucian? Who's the one that you put to the side for Drippe? Because they put a lot of money into Drippe. He's gonna play. Whoever they buy, he is playing.
If you had to drop Leth, Memory, or Lucian, I would not drop Memory. I think Memory has the versatility.
Yeah, I think so too.
And the all-around skill set that you would need. It would just be then between Lethamyr and Lucian. That's a tough one. I on the snap would probably drop Lucian just because I think Drippe could play his role better. I think 1-for-1, it would be the easiest transition.
You think that would turn into an upgrade for them?
Yes, I think if you dropped Lucian, added Drippe 1-for-1, it would be an upgrade. Yes.
Okay. I'm a little bit inclined to agree with you on that. The only reason I have doubts is because in the last weeks of RLCS League play, that's when Lucian kind of kicked up a bit. And so it's harder for me to just be like, yeah, let's drop him,
Yeah,
that'd be a tough one.
You need the consistency, though. It's good that, again, it's good to show up at the end of the season where it counts, but, you
took too long to kind of find your place.
So, if it were me, I would drop Lucian, I think.
I'm leaning more that way myself. So, if Evil Geniuses does go that route of buying out Ghost, that's the way I think I see it going, most likely.
Again, I tend to agree.
So, you got anything else you want to throw out there before we do our sign off? Any additional stuff that we maybe didn't say enough about that you want to get last word in?
Happy birthday, Rocket League. It's been 4 years now since this beautiful game has arisen from Psyonix. Thank you, Psyonix, for putting out this little gem of a game.
4 years since I had a life. So thanks for that.
Pretty much.
Oh, man. Guys, thank you very much for joining us tonight. Once again, please consider following us on Twitch and all that jazz. We'll be uploading this episode later on YouTube.com. For anyone who missed today's live recording, please go give us a subscription over on YouTube, because we don't have a cool URL that I can just say at the end of that, and it's really bumming me out. So once we hit 100 subscribers, we can have that. So please make it so that I can say youtube.com/playingwithrockets like I do everything else, because I need consistency in my life.
If nothing else, just to ease his pain, guys, please.
Yeah. So, Perino, what are your plugs?
Follow me on Twitch, twitch.tv/Perino, all lowercase. That is my main source of content creation, and I love seeing you guys when you pop in and say hi, so please do so.
That's it for him. And then be sure to follow us both at our Twitter handles right below our beautiful faces. And then my Twitter handle is the exact same as it is on Twitch. I have been really bad about streaming. I gotta do it again at some point. When's a fine time?
It's fun.
I got life going on. I'll do it again soon. My gameplay's not fun, so I'd have to do commentary or something. I'd have to be like Johnny Boy. But guys, thank you so much. This has been Around the Scene, presented to you by Playing with the Rockets. I'm Ryan. That's Daddy Perino. And it has been our pleasure to have you with us. Take care and enjoy the rest of your day. Peace out. We'll see you next time.